Namaskar, everyone. Welcome back to another live with Aditya Soma. So, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here on this channel, I talk a lot about real estate, financial freedom, how to get into real estate investing, how to achieve financial freedom through real estate, and how I did, and answer your questions on this live every day, every week on Thursday, 7 p.m. So, welcome to my channel. If you're joining for the first time, please let me know in the comments. Even if you're joining, again, let me know in the comments what's your name, where are you joining the live from. I would love to know you, and feel free to ask any questions you have. So today I thought I will talk about pre-constructions, but will be answering your questions along the way. So don't hesitate to ask any questions you have. I will be jumping on your questions while I'm talking about topics here regarding pre-construction. So, oops, I already see the questions pouring in. So, love that, Josh. I'm from Edmonton. Hey, Josh, welcome. Yather, I'm Robbie. Hey, Robbie, joining from Berry. Awesome, welcome, guys. Kamalpreet, how do you find a good realtor in BC to achieve real estate investment goals? Good question. So I would start with the first question. Let me go for the first question here. Ankita, hello Aditya. So I just did my studies. Do you think after my PR, can I jump into real estate market with not enough money and connections? So Ankita, that's how I started personally. I started when I started, I didn't even had my PR. I was on work permit, and thank God, like if you have a full-time job in Canada, good thing is a lot of banks are willing to give 95% mortgage, up to 95%. So you got to check with your bank, whichever the city you're in. Maybe find a mortgage person, real estate agent. Talk to them, see what's your story, because you don't need to have connections. Personally, I didn't have connections. I just Google literally, real estate investor focused realtor in Windsor. At that time, my good friend, after became friends, but at that time she was my realtor, Cassidy Loxon. She, thanks to her, like big thanks to her, she started a meetup group. At that time, I was the first person, because I was just looking to learn from someone, and also I want to invest in. So she was a realtor and her boyfriend was a mortgage person. So they both were perfect. Like I was literally, and they also owned properties. So I'm like, just teach me guys how to do it. And I was just offered them. I used to go for networking event. I even offered them to work for free for them. I helped him different things here and there. And hey, that's how I started. Like all the projects have started from there. So zero connections, zero knowledge, and they taught me what they knew. So that's exactly what I would suggest. Like Google, nowadays, like Google has answer for every city. So see who is investor focused, who is investing along the way, also a realtor, because they will have a lot of connections, especially they're investing and they are been in the business for a couple of years, or they know what they're doing. Based on you look at their profile, you will be able to find good people. So yeah, start from there. For 5% down, you don't need too much money. You just need 5% down, especially if you are in a smaller towns, or if your city is closer to smaller towns, move to the smaller towns. 5% down for a 500,000 property, you need $25,000. So if you're working full time, if you can live frugally, say don't spend too much money, save as much as possible, then you can save up that 5%. So that's how I did. So Josh, I'm banker, I want to achieve financial freedom via real estate, need your mentorship. Yeah, of course, Josh. What do you mean I'm banker? So are you a mortgage broker or mortgage agent, or you're like bank teller? Ask me more specific questions. I'll be more than happy to. I do this lives because to mentor many people like who need help. So feel free to ask me questions. Um, what's your current situation? How can I help you? Kamalpreet, so like I just mentioned, you know, Google is one of the best way, and also bigger pockets. If you guys haven't heard, like search bigger pockets, bigger like big pocket, biggerpockets.com. You will be able to, find it. It's like a lot of real estate content. Go there and search if there is any realtors who are investors in your city. So especially if you're looking to invest. Sorry, one quick second, guys, here. So Google has a lot of information. You can get that, take the help of Google. If not, let us know specific city. See if I can find, if I know someone who is like, investor focused, or who is good with what you're looking for. I'll see if I can find someone in my network as well. So just DM with the city name. Jumped from Instagram a second ago. Yes, awesome. Thank you, brother. From Toronto. Hey, Shobit. Let me jump onto the next question here. I just got my realtor license. Can you suggest me which would be the best brokerage to join for newbies? So Hey Ruby. So basically, I was a brand new agent and I joined EXP Realty because this is one of the best brokerage I know, especially for who is starting out brand new, because EXP offers some attractive, mm, the training programs and the mentorship programs, and also lead gen, because it's pretty high tech company, and they have like lot of training on different things, how you can generate leads, how you can do the different things. Even I do some classes on there, on how to use social media to generate leads, different kind of things. And personally, it saves you a lot of money, and it will help you to make money along with the solid training programs and support programs. So personally, I would, without even thinking too much, I would suggest EXP. If you want to talk more, DM me on Facebook or Instagram. We will be able to share some details on that. I'm more than happy to. Akansh, hi Aditya, is Windsor still a good place for cash flow generation? I'm working with Gary from Win City, but would like to get in touch with you as well. Hey, so first of all, thank you for working with us. So, personally, I'm still buying because, yes, with the prices going up and up, it's getting harder and harder to find a good cash flow property. But that being said, there are still properties out there that are potential for cash flowing. You just need to be creative in order to generate the cash flow. So, yeah, of course, for sure, there are properties, and I still believe Windsor has potential. Someone is knocking my door on and on. I just don't know who is that. Ujwal, if we pay 5% down, then we shall do what we have to give 5%, give percentage of profit back to government. What do you mean, Ujwal? I didn't really get your question, but if I have to guess, do you mean like if you're going for 5% down, you have to take that insurance, the CMHC insurance or Genworth insurance? So that insurance probably like 10-15,000 or something. You're not giving back. You're putting your money 5% down, and if you're using that 5% from a RRSP, yeah, then you have to put it back into your RSP if you don't want to pay the taxes. And there is a time period, especially for your first home, if you have a built up RRSP amount, because you can use that for your down payment purpose, that you have to pay back in 10 years or 15 years. I'm not 100% sure. Check on that because I haven't used it. Because at that time I didn't have RRSPs. But if you're talking about the CMHC insurance, it's the insurance that banks have, because they're giving you 95% mortgage. So actually that will help you, first of all, to get the best rate, because you have CMHC insurance. The lender has less risk and you are leveraging most of the money. So look at this simple math. If you're buying a 500,000 home for 5% down, you're putting $25,000 of your money. And let's say after 5 years down the road, you sold this property, let's say just very conservatively for 600,000. So you purchased for 500, you sold for 600,000. How much money did you put in? 25,000. And you made 100,000 profit. 600 minus 500, your purchase price, right? 100,000 profit, but your investment was 25,000. So that means now your returns are 400% in 5 years. I'm being very, very conservative. So, which means like every year the market is only appreciating by like, excuse me, 4 to 5%. That's my assumption. And you have seen like in last 4 years, the market was crazy, 20%, 30%. It's insane. So we're just talking about conservatively over a 5 years of period, the market has appreciated total of 20%, where you will be still making 400% return on your money because you leveraged your money. You took someone else, the bank's money, the 95%. So I would look at from that point of view. You're not really paying the profit back to government. No, the government doesn't ask you for profit, especially it's your primary home. You don't even pay taxes when you sell. When you make the profit from the sale, you're not paying taxes. If it's an investment property, there is a capital gain. If it's a buy and hold, the rental property. If it's a flip, you're paying the active income salary, the taxes. So whereas if it's a primary home, you lived in it for over a year, then you're not even paying taxes because it's a primary home. That's a government exception for homeowners. Ujwal, so if we take a home 5% down, can we sublease it? Okay, so first of all, if you're the owner, if you're buying a home for 5% down, you can lease it for anyone. It's you're the owner. It's your property. And subleasing is totally different. If you're renting a property from someone, and if you want to sublease, then you have to take your owner's permission. So for example, I'm the owner of the property you're living in, and you rent it from me. Now you want to rent it to your friend. So that is subleasing. And for that, you need to take my permission because I'm the owner of the property you're living in. But if the property you're living in, it's your own property, then you can lease it to anyone. Leasing, you're the homeowner. You can rent it for anyone you like. Hope that helps. Is it a good idea to use HELOC to out a down? So let me, if my understanding is correct, can I use if you're concerned that if you can use your line of credit, HELOC, LOC, line of credit, to buy a property, it has a down payment. So first of all, if you gotta you gotta tell me if it's a secure line of credit or unsecure, because you will have two different line of credits generally. One, the unsecured one, which means it's not lean against anything. It's just based on your credit. You got a line of credit from any bank, you can get that 30, 40, 50,000, whatever, based on your qualification. Or you have a secure line of credit. The secure line of credit is generally based on any asset like a home. So if you have a house and you have equity in the property, and if it's your primary home, generally a lot of banks will give you a home equity line of credit. So that is secure line of credit. So the reason I bring up this two different things is if you're talking about unsecured line of credit, most of the lenders don't allow you to use this for down payment. If it's a secure line of credit, there are lenders, most of the lenders allow. So unsecured, they don't. Secured, they do. But again, it depends on lender to lender. And I know the recent news that they're now even thinking that they would stop using unsecured line of credit to use the down payment. So again, that's another different topic. But as of now, If it's unsecure, yes, you cannot use it. If it's secure, you can use it. Is it a good idea or not? It depends on the deal that you're investing in. It depends on the property that you're investing in. It depends on what's your strategy. I personally, like, recently I bought a property, um, which was like, I'm building a tiny home in the back. This house, I bought it all with my line of credit. Like, I didn't even go for a bank. I just pulled all my, like, secure line of credit, unsecured line of credit. I paid cash for the property because I know I can refinance this property after 6 months or 3 months and take my money out and pay those line of credits back. So if you know what you're doing, if you know that it's the good investment, if it's a good investment and there is a guaranteed, yeah, why not? So that's something you have to look in more into your personal situation and make a decision accordingly. Hope that makes sense. So how to refinance after mortgage? I am RD05. Um, Can you please elaborate your question? What do you mean by how to refinance after mortgage? So, if my understanding, let me make assumptions because the question is not so clear. Guys, if you're joining for the first time, please let me know what's your name in the comments and where you're joining from. And also feel free to ask the questions. I'll be, live for another 45 minutes. I'll be live till 8 p.m. So I'll do my best to answer every question. And if I didn't get a chance to answer before 8 p.m., I will be coming back again next Thursday. So don't feel bad. And also, don't hesitate to DM me on Instagram or Facebook. I'll do my best to answer there as well. So let me make some assumption about this refinance. So if you're saying that you have a mortgage, you purchased a property, let's say a year ago, and now you want to refinance, right? If that's the question, then first thing is call the bank or lender who gave you money for the first time and ask them, hey, my property value when I purchased was 500,000. So my mortgage was 400,000. Now my property value went up, let's say 700,000. So now you have that 200,000 equity. So banks generally willing to always lend you up to 80% of your value of the property. So whatever the point of time you're trying to get the mortgage, they look at your property value. So at the point of time, let's say today you're looking to refinance your home worth is, just for the round figure numbers, let's say $1 million. And now the bank, if you qualify, they lend you up to 80% loan to value. So they give you a new mortgage for 800,000. And let's say you have an old mortgage for 400,000. So from 800,000, they pay that back. So that 400,000 is gone. Now you have another 400,000. So that's refinance. So you got that money. You can go reinvest. Of course, your mortgage went up. On that one, you're not going to pay any taxes because you just borrowed more money from the bank because your asset value went up. Hope that I answered. If that's not what you mean, please let me know what do you mean. What's your question a little bit more clearly? Tarun, hi Tarun. Hi Aditya, can you suggest a couple of good builders for pre-construction homes near GTA? Personally, I'm not super knowledgeable about pre-constructions in GTA. I'm still learning, so I don't have a list of builders as of now. You know what, maybe that's a good point because I'm slowly getting more into pre-construction. I'm trying to make some connections in GTA and in other cities, because that's something I love. Pre-construction is one way, especially if you don't have lot of money right now and you want to buy, you don't qualify for a mortgage or something for some reason, but you know that year down the road or 2 years down the road you will be qualified for mortgages, and you know that you will have total money at that point. Then that's one of the best way. The pre-constructions is one of the best way to get into the market. So again, I'm still trying to make connections on the builder. So I'll once I have some more deeper knowledge with about builders in GTA, I'll make another video. For now, sorry, I don't have. Real estate with Adam Malik. I love the name, bro. If you're looking for a realtor who is investor focused in Ontario, feel free to reach out. In Ontario, bro, there are so many cities in Ontario. I'm located in Windsor. I can only I'm a realtor, investor focused realtor. So you gotta be a little bit more specific. Which city are you located in? Next question, Jazz. Financial advisor in Edmonton, want to achieve financial freedom via real estate, need your mentorship, planning to relocate to Windsor. Again, so yeah, for sure you'll get mentorship, depending on, what you want to do. So be a little bit more clear, like, so what do you want to do? How much money do you saved up right now? What's your plan? And if you already have a job, um, and if you can find a job here, so I would say first find a job in Windsor, then move here, because especially if you have a job, um, get a job, or income, so that you can easily qualify for mortgages, especially if you want to get into real estate. How is multifamily investing in Windsor? Amit, hey Amit. Again, I love multifamily investing in Windsor. Um, Definitely, because one of the reason is it's still pretty low vacancy rate, and still per unit cost is lower than a lot of cities, like the size Windsor size cities, and still a lot of potential for growth. Um, but you gotta be working hard to find a good multifamily property, because there is not much inventory in Windsor. That's a problem. So you just need to work harder to find a good property, to find a good multifamily. But there are a lot of duplexes, triplexes, fourplexes, like a smaller multifamily. There is good amount of inventory. And if you guys looking for a duplex around 500 range, I have one exclusive deal, off market right now, in a central location of Windsor. If you want to know more details, DM me. It's We will send you the details. Just I'll put the email in the chat. Send us an email if you're interested to, find out more about a duplex in Windsor that is around 500, 520. Seller wants 520 if he wants to sell. So send us an email there. It's info@wincityre.com. We'll send you the info there. Okay, next question. Mohammed Hayana. Hi, Mohammed. Recent, a recent grad from University of Windsor. Congratulations. I'm stuck with the decision, IT job versus real estate agent. I know how you started off into real estate. I also need to think about my PR application. So again, personally, I worked in IT for 5 years, and then I realized, I didn't realize. First of all, I started investing first. I you know I knew the power of investing because I was reading a lot of books. So personally, I would suggest, um, especially until you get your PR, you need a consistent income if you want to get into investing side eventually. um, but I would say it's your personal choice, how desperate you are, how much knowledgeable you are. If you're starting out with zero knowledge and zero experience, no clue about real estate, it's going to take time for you to make money through real estate. And also, like you mentioned, PR application, of course you need that stable income to qualify um, I believe, like, you need to have a 1 year of experience or 2 years through express entry something. So yeah, take all those things into consideration. And while you're working on your peer on the status and all, gain the knowledge, learn about Windsor, because don't just blindly get into real estate just because you saw me or someone else have a good success in real estate. Because the real estate sales industry has a pretty high failure rate. Only over 20, less than 20% of people really make money in sales, in real estate sales. Because it's not that easy business. It's quite a bit of a competition. You got to stand out, and it takes a lot of time to stand out. So personally, because I started investing first and I was like building my network, I was doing a lot of networking when I was investing, and I already purchased like few properties. that helped me a lot to start off. And even I was not sure, I was scared too, but because I got my PR, and I was like pretty much I want to do or die. I was fed up with my job, that's why I got in. So I would say, make sure get your status first. That, as an immigrant, that's my personal suggestion, because once you have your status, then you can, once you have your PR, you can do whatever you'd like to do, right? So you have a lot of options there. Moving on to the next question. Ujwal, Aditya, can you open a site which shows us some potential BRRRR strategy homes that we can come and invest? I'm not prepared this time, so probably just finding a property would take time, definitely. But you know what? That's actually a good point. I'll make a note. I'll do another live strictly just how to analyze a BRRRR project. A really, really good point. That would itself will take quite a bit of time. So let me make a note here, so I can come up with another day, a full analyzing deals day. Love it. Moving on to the next question. Do you have your own team? Yes, Adam, I have my own team. We operate in Windsor, Ontario. Mostly Windsor and Windsor Essex. Not too long. We don't go too far. I have really good agents in my team who are crushing it, who love to help investors, sellers, home buyers, first-time home buyers here in Windsor. And we are heavily focused on investors because most of my team members are also investors along with me. Tarun, hi Aditya. How to buy investment pre-construction home in Edmonton with 5% down? I know traditionally it's 20% down. So first of all, the 5% down concept is not for investments. 5% down concept is if you're planning, your intentions are to move into the property. So if you're moving in, that's when the banks will give you 95% loan to value. Whereas, if it's an investment property, the minimum is 20% down, because you don't have the insurance option. You do in a multifamilies. If it's a bigger multifamily, if it qualifies, there are a lot of different elements in it. It's hard to explain in one shot, but generally in a bigger multifamilies, you might get for 85% loan to value. Like you can buy a multifamily for 15% down. But other than that, like a small multifamily, regularly, if you're investing in a single family or duplex, triplex, fourplex, you have to put 20% down minimum, if it's an investment property. Or if you're planning to move to Edmond, if you have a job there, or if you have a work from home option, and if you don't have any other home, maybe move in there, live there for 1-2 years, buy it for 5% down. That's another option. Unless if someone have any other solution, let me know in the comments, because I don't know if there is any other way. Sambashiv, what's your views on current real estate market? I heard properties might decrease 24 to 40%. Wow, bro, I love to know if the market goes down. That would be interesting to see. Um, I don't know where you read. If you read any article, please put it in the chat. I would love to read, because that's a pretty huge prediction. Um, that's a very interesting one to comment on. Personally, I don't think so. I don't think it will impact that much on the market, just because the interest rates are going up. Because I don't see any other negative things happening in the economy, especially like in Windsor. We just have a recent announcement from Tesla. There's like, not Tesla itself, like the battery making company, that announced like they are breaking grounds in next quarter in Windsor. That's going to bring 2,500 new employees to Windsor. So things like that, like the economy is strong. It's people have jobs. It's like and new people moving in. Biggest fundamentals in real estate, like when the population growth is happening, when the job market is strong. So if this too becomes rough, that's when the market can significantly impact. Personally, at least so far, I personally haven't seen this two getting impacted. If you have seen somewhere, any data, I love to see. Please comment below. And if you guys, anyone else think the same way, please, if you have any data that you have read or something, please let me know in the comments. Personally, i'm I'm thinking, based on the data that I'm reading, I don't think it's gonna, drop. Um, Maybe it will stabilize, because it's been going too crazy. It's not a sustainable growth that is going on in last 2 3 years. Like 20 30% increase is not a sustainable growth. It's crazy. It's not good. Personally, even though, I'm happy I have some properties appreciated quite well, but at the same time, it's not good for overall economy for that much growth. it, if it's like 5% or 10% at the most, like it's okay, because generally the inflation plays a major role. But this much, not a good idea. So I'm expecting, probably in next, this year or next year, probably it will not grow that crazy. It will just like flat out, like, like a stabilization period. N- it- I Other than that, I mean, again, I'm not a big social, like, the data analyst or anything. And I cannot really 100% predict. I would not even claim that. That's why I stick to a stupid, what do you call, idiot strategy, that thousands of millions of investors who invested in the past, successful investors, said, which is like, buy and hold. I buy a home. If I find a nice property that needs some love, I'll buy it. I'll do some renovations. I'll keep it for a long run. That's my strategy. I just rent them out, and I'll make sure I have some money set aside for, unexpected things, 10,000, 20,000 for each property, and I'll just let them there, stay there. I will rent them until I can. If the market is good, if I want to move into bigger things, then I will sell. If the market is like, as so or not, I might not sell. So that's my strategy, idiot strategy, or whatever, however you call it. And just, that's why I don't really focus too much on the market movement. I would just look for always a good deal, which I can, which I can take my money out in year or so. And I want to make sure, once I took my money out, the property at least break even or positive 100 $200 cash flow, if it's a single family or duplex. So that's my strategy. I'm sticking to my strategy. Moving on to the next question. San, which are the best areas in to invest in real estate now, you feel, apart from Windsor? I'm looking at Calgary and Edmonton. That's in one city, two cities that I'm looking at. I might fly this weekend to Calgary, just to, understand more, meet some people, um, just to understand how what's going on, because I've been seeing some population growth there, because it is coming from a market crash. Because 4 5 years ago, due to the oil, the Edmonton and Calgary is heavily depend on oil. So the market got crashed, and now they're slowly recovering, because people moving in, and the governments are giving a lot of incentives for employers to, have their, businesses there, with the, like, tax benefits, different kind of things, where I'm seeing a slow population growth and some job diversifications, those kind of things. So I'm keeping an eye on those cities as of now. Other than that, I haven't did that much research on other cities yet, because I'm still investing heavily in Windsor. So moving on to the next question. Wow, for the first time, I'm seeing like 50 people live watching this. Man, thank you so much, guys. Make sure, if you enjoyed the live so far, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, and make sure to, subscribe, because that's the favor you guys can do for me, for, giving you guys my time. So just do me a written favor. Don't keep it for yourself. Just hit that subscribe button, because that's just an encouragement for me to make more videos like this. So, yeah, moving on to the next one. Viral. Hey, Aditya, do you know anything about New Brunswick for real estate investing? I heard, I think I heard yesterday in a meetup. I went to a meetup in Windsor, and some investor, he was talking about New Brunswick. Personally, I haven't digged much into New Brunswick yet. I know some investors are going there. Even last live that I had with one of my good friend Natasha, she's also investing in New Brunswick. So again, I haven't yet. um, like I said, I just started to look into different cities. Probably once I have a little bit more deeper knowledge on different cities, I will definitely make some videos on those in future. Moving on to the next question. Shahil, I'm in a KWC. I don't know what KWC is. I cannot afford buying a house here at the point of time. If I can buy a house to near city, small city, if I don't live there, can I claim first time home buyer and primary home benefits? No, that's a fraud, bro. That's a fraud. It's no, don't do that because it's not a good idea. Never do that. Only if your intentions are to move in, then only buy the primary home, because especially if it's nearby town, you can go move in, right? If you cannot afford here, why don't you go there? Maybe after 1 year or 2 years, if you have plans have changed, no one is going to come after you. But if your intentions are not at all to move in, then you can get into trouble, right? So just make sure, don't get into those. Always try to stay away from Canadian government. They are so sweet people, but if we do something like that, if we get into trouble, they're not so sweet people. So I heard some horrible stories here. Some people have done that, which got into trouble. But if your intentions are moving in, and if you genuinely move in, and then if your intentions has changed after that, your wife didn't like anything, that's a different story. But yeah, no. Shobit, hi Aditya. As per you, which province is the best to start real estate sales career? Bro, that's a tough one, bro. I would say whichever the city you're in, where you have a good knowledge. If you are born and raised in Windsor and you know Windsor every corner, do you really want to go start in New Brunswick or Edmonton or Calgary? It's better start in Windsor because you have a deep knowledge here about neighborhoods. You have a deep connections because you grew up here. But if you're starting everything from zero, then which city. Personally, from a sales point of view, I never research for cities. I'll be honest. Here and there I research for investing purpose because I don't want to go out of city for sales purpose. um, but again, it depends on what type of sales you want to focus on. If you want to go for luxury, maybe bigger cities like Toronto and Vancouver are the best cities. But if you want to go for investment focused, maybe like now, because a lot of investors are moving towards smaller cities, maybe smaller cities. But again, it depends on so many elements. I don't want to give one answer. You better ask yourself a deeper questions, because where are you currently? What do you know about the real estate? What about the city that you're living in, and how many realtors in that area, and what strategies that they're applying? So because I believe in every city there are realtors nowadays. Whichever the city you're in, doesn't matter. What you're gonna do with your license is what matters. Hope that helps. Aditya, do you know how is Coco Homes in Windsor has a house developers? I mean, they're one of the mid-sized developers in Windsor. They're not like too big, not too small. I did sell some of their semi-detached homes with a ADU. They've been in the business for a while, like almost 30-40 years, I believe. They're pretty decent, not bad. Moving on to the next question. Akash, um, I'm confused to book property in Calgary, especially pre-construction, because of the high vacancy rate and volatile market. I'm thinking to do a partnership. Please let me know your thoughts. Again, very very good point, Akash. Yes, in Edmonton and Calgary, the vacancy rates are pretty high, like over 15%, I believe. So one thing, especially if you're looking at the volatile market, right? Always make sure you have a contingency funds. So personally, I'm looking at the city because I know that if my property stays vacant for 1 year or 2 years, I can sustain, like I can bear it. But personally, that's not my intention at all. So instead, what I did, I'm looking at a property that I can, I have an additional unit in the basement. So now, like if one unit is vacant, which means 50% vacancy, now at least still, if I can pay close to my expenses, I'm fine, because I'm getting a newer home and where I have a potential for appreciation. But again, that being said, um, it really depends on your personal financial situation, because especially if you're not living in the city that you're investing in, if you're not living in that pre-construction, you got to look at what's your closing date, how far is it. If it's like 2 years, and if you're pretty confident that market is going to continue for next 1 year, and once you see the growth, maybe just sell it out if you're not happy about the vacancy rate. Another thing is, like with the vacancy, also depends on which part of the Calgary that you're investing in, because there are which part of Calgary or Edmonton, every parts have a different vacancy rate. Because if it's close to downtown, the vacancy rate is a little bit lower. If it's away from downtown, the vacancy rates are a little bit higher. And also, how do you do to rent those units? And you gotta find good people who can lease your place. Um, and is there any employers nearby? Is there any all the amenities nearby for people to have a reason to rent your place? So you got to look at different details to make sure you know you're doing a right investment. So that's my thoughts. Yeah, don't just blindly buy because I'm buying or someone else buying. Look at your personal situation, personal financial situation, see if it makes sense. Moving on to next. Shashank, please share pre-construction purchase plan. If you're referring to the Edmonton project that we have, I'm going to share that details soon. Send us an email. Or if you're referring to my purchase details, um, I'm going to confirm that probably by end of this weekend. So I don't have 100% details at the moment. I'm still in the research mode. So yeah, once I have something more concrete, I will be more than happy to share with you guys. Moving on to the next question. Tarun, is it still good option to buy investment single family homes in Windsor? So personally, again, if you're buying with a strategy, right? Like I just bought a single family home before I left to India, which is like in November. Again, I changed my strategy a little bit. Um, I went to a single family that I can build a tiny home in the back, like a detached ADU, if possible, a basement ADU as well. Again, that's what I'm doing, and with that strategy, I'm going to make positive cash flow. So that's where, if you have a single family where you have a potential to do ADU, and if you have finances to do it, or if you can get a loan for it, then that's still a good investment. Or if you're okay with a little bit of lower neighborhoods, because in Windsor, um, in the lower neighborhoods, you can still find like single family homes under 450, 500, that are in a decent condition. So those neighborhoods are also like getting slowly better and better, because I'm seeing a lot of investors are improving like me. People, I bought mm, two properties just like yesterday, one lot to build a single family home in one of the roughest neighborhood in Windsor, which is Ford City. And the tiny home that I'm building is also in the roughest neighborhood, which I bought just before I left to India, like I mentioned earlier. So that one also single family, but I'm doing a ADU in the back. So the lot I'm building is also single family. I'm going to add a basement unit. I'm going to do a like ADU, attached ADU and detached ADU. So now I'm going to make it a 3 unit house. So it depends on, yes, I personally still believe in Windsor. You still have an opportunity, and I feel still Windsor have potential for a good appreciation too. So that's why I'm still positive. Yes, I personally feel still, yes, it's a good buy, because bigger city like Windsor, right? Like Windsor is a pretty good sized city. It's not like 10,000 population. It's over 400,000 population. With every year, the population is going up, and the job opportunities are also slowly going up. And the Detroit other side is also coming up, because a lot of things happening there. And the new bridge construction and mega hospital construction, they're still in construction, they're still in the progress. So I feel, personally, Windsor has a lot more opportunity to grow. That's my personal opinion, guys. I'm not a financial advisor, just as a disclaimer. So always do your own due diligence. This is just my opinion, and this is what I'm doing from a random guy on YouTube. Moving on to the next question. Read, how much money first time home buyer need to put for new construction? So doesn't matter if it's new construction or a resale. Generally, it depends on if you're looking to move into that house. For if you're a first time home buyer and you're looking to move into it, if it's under 500,000, you can buy it for 5% down. And again, you have to qualify for it, right? The mortgage qualifications. If it's over 500,000, under a million, you can get up to 10% down. If it's over a million, you have to put 20% down. Hope that helps. Moving on to the next question. Tarun, what are the options to borrow down payment for pre-construction if closing in 6 months, and if refinancing it not an option? So again, that's a good question. I love that answer. I love that question. So generally, with the pre-constructions, I know what many people does, like they borrow from line of credits, unsecured line of credits, or friends. They do different things and go buy this property, because with the intention, with the expectations that pre-construction value will go up. So if that's your expectations, then go for longer closing. Because if you're going for 6 months closing, what if the property value doesn't go up as much as you thought? Or now if you cannot sell it, now you got to pay the interest on the money you borrowed. So but if it's a longer closing, for example, there are a lot of condos in Toronto. Like I booked a condo a year ago where this one has like 4 years long closing, like the closing is in 2025. So overall, there is a very good chance, because now I have a lot of longer time period where is a good chance for that appreciation to happen. And I just need to put 10% down. I have a good amount of time to save that extra down payment from my incomes, earnings, savings, and all. So but again, the more risk you take, the more reward you have. So that means there is risk, there is a high risk, you got to pay that money. And if there is a reward, if you're getting the deal for a good price because it's a quick closing, and you know that you can make money on it, then yeah. So you got to balance out those. Are you willing to take that high risk? Then you have a chance for the opportunity for higher reward, or lose some money. So yep, I hope I can give you a one clear answer, but it's not the question that I can answer just with a one straight answer. Moving on to the next question. Does private lending report in personal credit file? It depends. It depends. Most of the private lendings, especially if you're taking from your friends, family, from someone, generally they don't show up because you're not putting any lien. And also, if no one is putting any lien on any of your assets, it doesn't generally. So, but unless if they're putting a lien, like they're registering a mortgage against their name, then it most likely it will show up. But again, there's also like certain things. If they're credited investors or non-credited, there are certain things. Honestly, so far I have done mostly non-credited. Smaller investors who gave me private money on my pre-constructions. Nothing ever showed up on my credit bureau, because they just lended on my corporation. And also like they put they didn't like we registered a lien, but still they're not like credited investors. And again, there are certain elements that even I'm not unclear. At least all I can say, so far the private lendings I took like at least for 4 or 5 properties so far, has a first mortgage. And we have those properties on corporation. Never showed up on the credit bureau, because I personally guaranteed them and they didn't. Navdeep, do you use your HELOC to LOC to purchase a house in a hope to refinance. What if the price goes down and you cannot refinance? So, good question. You have your answer. You just need to pay the interest on both because, again, that's where the risk, right? How much risk you want to take. So, personally, like I mentioned earlier, on a project that I did, I took all my line of credit because I know that if I cannot refinance and take at least most of my money out, if I left like, let's say, 30% of the money that I took in the line of credit, I'm willing to pay that interest because I know that I can at least afford for next few months. But that's where you got to analyze yourself. Hey, can you afford this? You got to look at your numbers, right? So how much is your interest on the money that you're borrowing? How long can you sustain without refinancing? Like, assuming that the worst case scenario, I always take what's my best case scenario. I always look at my worst case scenario. What would happen if I don't get X amount of refinance money? How much interest do I have to pay? Can I bear it? So you got to ask that question yourself. If the answer is yes, then go for it. If the answer is no, then don't go for it, right? So that's my advice. Moving on to the next question. Man, I am loving it. I love this active participation. Like, so many people asking a lot of questions. Again, one thing I learned in my career, the best way to learn is by asking, right? Like, if you don't ask any questions that you have, like, especially with the immigrant mindset coming from India, my mom used to beat me like for asking questions, because back home it's like, no, don't ask, like, are you dumb, like those kind of things. But here in this country, I realized, like, it's better not to assume, just ask and get clarified. If not me, someone else will answer. Shivek, how we can research which area can be considered to pre-construction other than GTA? Oh, that's it. If we know a magic pill on that one, everyone would be like, really needs. But again, hey, here, one of the serious answer, right? Um, Join the networking groups in different cities. So let's say you're looking to invest in Windsor, right? Go join investor groups in Windsor. Go talk to other investors who are already investing in Windsor. Get an idea. Drive down to Windsor. Come down once, talk to local people. What do you think? How do you see, is are you seeing the businesses, like, are you seeing the roads improving? Are you seeing the businesses are getting better? What are you seeing in that city? Talk to local people. Hey, what have you seen in last few years? Like, have you seen people moving out of the city, or are you seeing people moving into the city? How are the rents? Are the people willing to pay the rents, or there more vacancies, or there low vacancies? Again, if it's a pre-construction, look at how long the builders are giving, and how are the builders, are they good builders or bad builders? How long they've been in the business, how much success rate they have. um, yeah, like, you gotta dig more into the city. You have multiple ways: Google, networking groups, bigger pockets. What else? Driving to the city, staying in the city for a week, getting to know localates, and yeah, that those are some of my takeaways. That's why I'm flying to Calgary. I know it's going to cost me a couple of, maybe $1,000 or $1,500 to fly there. But hey, what if if it can save my investment, right? Like, if I don't feel what it is, like all the theory that I learned from social media, what if it's not true, right? At least now, if I go there and mingle with the locals and just get to know, maybe have a drink at the bar and talk to other people, maybe meet some investors there. Now I would get an idea, better idea, better sense of the city. Then I can make a decision accordingly. Moving on to the next one. Can you sell pre-construction before closing, and we will need to pay capital gain taxes on it? Kamalpreet, yeah, very good question. So first of all, yes, if you have a right to assignment clause on your purchase agreement, so it's called right to assignment clause. Make sure you have that if you want to sell. So if you have that, yes, you can sell. And if you sell, you made money. It's not a primary home. So like I said earlier, if it's not a primary home, you must pay taxes. There are capital gains, and that's something I would say. How much do you have to pay? Maybe talk to your accountant. It's hard to calculate because there are so many elements goes into it to calculate how much taxes you're gonna pay. But in short, yes, you will have to pay taxes. You cannot avoid that, unless if it's your primary home. You purchased the pre-construction, you moved into it, you lived there for 1 year, then yeah, then you might get, you don't have to pay taxes at that moment. So that's one of the reason I have seen some investors, what they do, especially if they have a huge capital gain on that property, in order to avoid the taxes, they don't mind moving into that house, because now they move in there, they live there for 1 year, 2 years, and then sell it out, so now they can claim it as a primary home. Do you have any pre-constructions in Calgary? As of now, I have pre-constructions in Edmonton. I'm talking to some builders. If you know any good builders that you can recommend in Calgary, let me know in the comments. I would love to meet them when I'm flying, if I'm flying this weekend, or if not next weekend. Um, yeah. So as of now, I don't have in Calgary. I have in Edmonton. I might have something coming in because I'm working with good a friend and a realtor in Calgary and Edmonton, who is giving us some exclusive access for my clients. So yeah, send us an email, info@vincityre.com. I'll put in the comments, info@vincityre.com. Um, then if we have some projects, we will definitely keep you guys in the loop. Moving on to the next question. Guys, it's been so much fun, and it's almost 7:58, so probably I'll be answering two or three more questions, and then we'll take a day off for now, and definitely we'll be coming back again next Thursday, same time, 7 p.m. Sometimes I'll come by myself, sometimes I bring in guests from different, with a different expertise. And especially if you're talking about Calgary, maybe I'll bring a guest from Calgary to answer some questions. Let me know, what do you guys, what topics you want me to talk more in future lives. Let me know in the comments. I'll be more than happy to bring experts if I'm not an expert in that area. Moving on to the next one. Hi Kiran, from Vancouver. I'm a student at present. What is the best way to save money from my first home purchase? How long do you think on an average can student afford to buy a home? Bro, it really depends on your personal situation. How much money are you making, first of all? If you're not making that much money, first of all, start making money. Take some part-time gigs. There are a lot of different ways you can make money. So focus on making money and live frugally. Biggest expense, what are the biggest expenses, especially in bigger cities? Rent and the car. Can you get rid of it? Can you share with someone and get your rents low? And don't avoid the car, don't have the car, and just in the buses. um, can you do some online tutoring, or whatever your skill set is? Can you make extra income? So especially if you're a student, unfortunately, if you're a student, you can don't qualify for a mortgage for 5% down. So in order to purchase quickly, then start saving while you're a student, start making more money while you're a student. Once you get a job, once you get out of the college, then start making even more, because now you get a full-time job. Once you have a full-time job, and you have over like at least the 1 year of experience, I believe, then you qualify for a mortgage with a 5% down. So then go for a property. So by then, all this time, especially you started with the right time, like learn about real estate markets, about investing strategies, different things, and go into the city that you where you would love to invest in, and maybe find a job in that city. Now that way you can plan now, so you can implement it when it's the right time. So yeah, you can do multiple ways. Hope that helps. Moving on to the next question. How do you choose your partners from JV? Hi, Tarun. So, again, personally, I don't take that much JV partners. So, that's why I even bring up a guest before last weekend to talk more about the JV partnership. But in short, I would say, look at this way, right? This is like a JV partnership is like a marriage. So, I really mean it. If you're marrying random person, what happens? if you don't like the person, if you don't have the relatability, if you don't have the same goals for the life, you're going to break up. So same thing, you just have a clear goals, you meet, you gotta find the right person whom you can like, trust, and have the same goals with with that investment, especially with the investment goals, not the personal goals. I'm just, yeah, giving an example such a way that you convert into the reinvesting side. So find the partner whom you who can, who has the skill set that you don't have, and who has the same investment goals you have. So in short, different skill set and same goals. Moving on to the last question, and sorry guys if I didn't get to your question. I promise again next week same time 7 p.m. we'll answer. It's I cannot believe it's already like 8. It's 1 hour just like that passed. So what are the rules of investing in pre-construction with foreign income? I learned from your videos a lot, so thank you. um, Thank you, Shikaf. So first of all, if it's a foreign income, first thing you got to know is there a foreign buyer tax in the city that you're investing in? Because in Canada, not every city has foreign buyer tax, but there are a few cities like Horseshoe area in GTA. So GTA does have a foreign buyer tax, and Vancouver, I believe. But again, check on, there's on government website, I believe. They have all these details there, which cities have a foreign buyer tax. So that's the first thing I would look into. And second thing is how much money are you bringing in, because you need to, pre-construction, when it comes to closing, you need to pay the down payment, higher down payment than the regular investors. So make sure you have that down payment. For example, if you're buying $500,000 property, now a regular investor who is in Canada, who has a credit in Canada, who has, income source in Canada, most likely they might qualify for 20% down, which is 100,000 is what they need from their pocket. But in your case, maybe you might need 40% or 50% down, and you must qualify for the mortgage with your foreign income. So you got to talk to a bank before you invest, and find a good realtor whom you can trust, especially in the city that you're looking to buy pre-constructions in. So who can guide you with all the other processes, like connecting with the mortgages, connecting with the lawyer, accountant, because there are different things that you just need to make sure. Those are the few things that at least on top of my mind. And along with that, like taxes, which country you're in right now, and what are the tax situation, like if you have to move your money from there to here, here to there. So talk to your accountant, make sure that part you're clear about it. So those are the few important elements I would consider. So guys, that's probably, I'd love to answer more questions, but it's just already past like 5 minutes. So I gotta jump out for my gym. It's time for my gym. But I promise next live will do my best to answer every question. So feel free to come back to the next live. And in the meanwhile, if you guys need any help in Windsor, guys, don't hesitate to reach out, because me and my team, we are more than happy to help you guys. We have a team of professionals for different things, because most of my agents are investors, and including myself, and I have built my connections here in Windsor with the mortgage, accountants, taxes, insurance brokers, property management, different things. So you're gonna get all those things along with the also mentorship, because you're getting all the knowledge for free. So don't hesitate to reach out to us if you need help in Windsor, Essex, um, or pre-constructions in Edmonton, maybe soon Calgary, and some in GTA. So yeah, guys, with that, thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening. Please, last request, don't forget to subscribe because that's the thing that helps me, keeps me enthusiastic about these videos. So with that, I'm gonna sign off. Take care, guys. Have a good night.